The woman was accompanying her son at the playground. Unexpectedly, she saw her husband with his first love. They had also come to this place. Upon witnessing this scene, the woman immediately called her husband. To her surprise, her husband hung up the call. It was only then that the woman realized that in her husband's heart, the one he truly loved had always been his first love. And all she could do was to hold her son tightly to prevent him from seeing this shameful scene. That night, while the woman was celebrating her son's birthday, she suddenly received a message on her phone. When she opened it, it turned out to be intimate photos of her husband and his first love. The woman, who still had a sliver of hope for her husband, completely gave up on him. After 10 years of marriage, all her efforts had ultimately been in vain. So the woman decided to take her son and disappear entirely from her husband's world. She asked for her son's opinion. Unexpectedly, the boy, in order not to make her sad, agreed to leave this place. Then the woman called her mentor. She expressed her willingness to join a secret research project, but under the condition that she could bring her child along. Because the woman was a rare scientific genius, her mentor immediately agreed to her request upon hearing it. So the woman decided to leave her husband completely with her son in 5 days. By this time, it was already late at night. The husband, who had been spending time with his first love, returned home. Seeing that his wife was still awake, he stepped forward to ask what was wrong. When the man learned that he had missed his son's birthday, he felt no guilt at all. Instead, he thought his wife was being overly aggressive. To him, forgetting his son's birthday was not a big deal. He thought he could just make up for it with a gift tomorrow. The woman didn't want to argue with him anymore. She simply took out the divorce papers and asked him to sign. However, at that moment, his first love called him. She said there was a power outage at her house. She and her child were scared and hoped he could come over. Hearing this, the man hastily signed the papers and rushed to his first love. Little did he know, he had just signed the divorce papers. The next day, the woman went to her company to submit her resignation. Even though her manager repeatedly tried to persuade her to stay, he was unable to change her decision. Just as she was about to leave, she happened to run into her husband embracing his first love. Her husband's wedding ring was now worn on his pinky finger, symbolizing singleness. It turned out that for 10 years, their marriage had been a flash marriage. Her husband had always hidden his marital status, using his career as an excuse. As a result, no one at the company knew she was the CEO's wife. When everyone was cheering for the CEO to kiss his first love, the CEO suddenly noticed the woman in the crowd, so he pulled her into his office. He explained that he and his first love were just friends and asked the woman not to misunderstand, but the woman didn't want to talk to him at all. Seeing this, the man handed her their son's birthday gift. Little did he know, his son was most afraid of dogs, yet he had bought a stuffed dog as a gift. Seeing this, the woman lost all hope in the man. Immediately after, the husband told the woman that his first love's house had lost power. He decided to let her move into his house, and the woman had to take their son and move out. Hearing this, the woman became even more determined to leave her husband. After returning home, the woman packed her luggage and was ready to leave with her son. But at that moment, the husband came back with his first love and her family. Facing the first love's questioning, the man lied, saying the woman was his relative and would be leaving today. Just as the woman was about to leave with her son, the man felt reluctant, so he picked up the cake on the table, intending to make it up to his son. But upon seeing this, the first love instructed her own son to snatch the boy's cake away. With the man trying to mediate, they decided to share the cake together. Just as the boy was about to eat the cake, the woman immediately stopped him because her son was allergic to mangoes. A slight mistake could cost him his life. The man, seeing this, felt deeply guilty, but the woman didn't give him a chance to apologize. She directly took her son and left. On the woman's last day before leaving, she decided to take her son to her husband's company to hand over the divorce agreement. Upon arriving at the office, she found that her husband was not there, so she placed the divorce papers and the stuffed toy on the desk and left with her son. Meanwhile, the CEO, who was in a meeting, suddenly felt a pang in his heart, so he immediately rushed to his office. He asked the first love's son if anyone had come by earlier, but the boy lied because he had already thrown the stuffed toy into the trash and had even doodled all over the divorce papers. So the man walked up to him and pretended to check the boy's homework, but he unexpectedly found a strange document. Just as the man was about to open it, his assistant suddenly walked in and informed him that the Research Institute had agreed to discuss a collaboration with them. The man was overjoyed upon hearing this. He then began reading the collaboration proposal, but found that it was written like complete nonsense. The man was instantly furious. When he learned that it was done by his first love, he suppressed his anger and instead reassured her that he would love her forever. That night, the man went to meet an important client, but the client specifically requested to see the woman, so he tried to contact his wife. When he found out that his wife had blocked all his contact methods, he became furious and ordered his assistant to reach out. But the assistant told him that the woman had already resigned. The man was utterly shocked upon hearing this. It was only then that he realized something was really wrong.